Hello and welcome to NTD News Today. Kevin Hogan here. Let's take a look at our top stories. Communities in Kentucky helping each other survive the tornado aftermath and mourning those they've lost. We have updates and hear from survivors. Amtrak suspending its vaccine mandate for employees. Meanwhile, United Airlines is in court for their mandate, but a ruling gives them the green light. The founder of Vyera Pharma is facing trial. The Federal Trade Commission and several states accuse him of illegally hiking prices on a life-saving drug. And O.J. Simpson is now a free man. Officials granted him an early release from parole last week, months ahead of his original date. President Biden's in Kentucky today surveying the damage left by those devastating tornadoes. This as communities work together in the aftermath. NTD's Jessica Beatty has the story of a woman focused on helping others.
Days after a tornado ripped through her town of Mayfield, Kentucky, Reina Guerra Perez is hosting 5 families in her home, 26 people in total. During the day, Perez helps distribute aid like food and toilet paper to people she says need it more than they do.
The man we went to visit right now can't go out. He's recovering from an accident he had where some sheet metal practically cut his entire lip off, so he's recovering.
Just like many others, Perez has no water, electricity, or gas. But she can be considered one of the luckier ones because the worst of a tornado missed her house.
Never in my life had I seen something like that. It was so sad to see all the houses, everything knocked down, cars, business, everything was knocked over. It's so sad to see what our friends and neighbors are going through.
Over in Bowling Green, Kentucky, residents of a housing development are mourning the deaths of 14 of their neighbors, including 7 children.
We always see the kids, I know the family, It's hard, it's very sad.
Bosnian immigrant Ben Saramovic says many of the victims were Bosnian refugees. He knew one of the families that died.
But what feelings I'm having right now, I really can't explain. I was a friend because I knew the whole family, but it definitely a lot of pain.
Baby bottles and toys, a reminder of the young victims. Ronnie Ward from the police department says you need a moment sometimes before going back to work.
And you come across a wagon and you think, that's associated with a child somewhere, and did that child live? And so those thoughts they overtake you, they overwhelm you. You need to stop a minute.
As of Wednesday morning, over 13,000 homes and businesses in Kentucky were still without power, according to poweroutage.us. And insurance experts say insured losses from the swarm of tornadoes could total up to $5 billion. Jessica Beatty, NTD News.
Search teams believe they've found everyone who was in that Kentucky candle factory, Mayfield Consumer Products, that was destroyed in Friday's tornadoes. But that news comes with a sobering caveat. The governor says the debris is so dense, it's possible search dogs just can't detect anyone else who may still be buried underneath. 8 of the 74 deaths in Kentucky were in that factory, which provides supplies for stores such as Bath & Body Works and others.
A massive effort to clean up in 8 states devastated by Friday's catastrophic storms. And now an Amazon facility in Illinois under investigation by the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, and a candle factory in Mayfield, Kentucky by the state's Labor Division.
Everybody is expected to live up to certain standards of both the law of safety and of being decent human beings.
I was just praying that God would take me because I didn't want to endure the pain no more.
Jim Douglas worked at the candle factory for more than 2 years and says the company treated him well and was prepared for Friday night's storms. From his hospital bed in nearby Paducah, Douglas reliving what it was like inside when the tornado struck.
It was like different layers would come down and I could feel my body would compact more. My face was already on the ground, but there was something trapped in my pelvic area. I was definitely being crushed. There were people trying to escape from there, and what they were doing is walking over at least me, and when they were doing that, it was pushing my chest flat, so it was really difficult to breathe.
Douglas telling CNN he estimates 15 feet of debris lay between him and the rescuers using heavy machinery to get to him.
I think the guy said, I see him right below this glass, and there's a door with glass in it. And it said, James, close your eyes. So I closed my eyes, and they broke the glass. And the guy who was at my feet, he kind of grabbed the back of my shorts, and a couple guys grabbed my arm, and they just yanked me up.
Those rescuers, or heroes as Douglas calls them, remain on site, continuing to sift through the debris where at least 8 people died. More than 100 people are feared dead in Kentucky alone, according to the governor, some of them infants. Now, a test of resiliency as residents look to the future. Douglas says nothing will get in his way for what he knows is a long road toward healing.
Jordan Bays rode out the tornado in his basement with family while they covered themselves with a mattress. He has lived in Bremen, Kentucky his entire life, but has never experienced a storm that intense before. While surveying the damage at his house and going through the rubble, he saw his grand piano was still somewhat intact. Jordan decided to sit down and play a Christian hymn titled, "There's Something About That Name." Jordan has been playing the piano since he was around 9 years old. His sister Whitney, who was there helping him pack up some items, recorded this video. A powerful storm charged through California on Tuesday. It provided the drought-stricken state with desperately needed rain. It also triggered rescue efforts and mandatory evacuations along a swollen river. This is due to the threat mudslides in areas scarred by wildfires.
We had a mudslide in February this year. So at first we were just looking at it and it wasn't hard. And then it came down hard for 5 minutes. And after that we came out to look and it was just a mudslide and the debris and everything. Down my street we actually had a shed and the whole shed came down with hay. So it actually blocked the road.
The National Weather Service reported remarkable rainfall in several parts of the state. In Orange County, south of Los Angeles, about 800 canyon homes were under evacuation orders Tuesday after a flash flood warning was issued and mudslides were reported in the area scorched by a 2020 wildfire. Amtrak has suspended its COVID-19 vaccine mandate for employees. That's according to its chief executive officer. And now the company no longer expects service disruptions in January. Amtrak CEO Bill Flynn said that employees who don't get the vaccine can be tested regularly instead. On Tuesday, the passenger railroad operator said it was suspending its vaccine-only mandate for employees. Currently, less than 500 Amtrak workers are unvaccinated, according to the CEO. A recent federal court order, in part, informed Amtrak's decision. That order halted the enforcement of President Biden's executive order, which required federal contractors to mandate the vaccine for their employees. The CEO said this caused Amtrak to reevaluate its own policy towards vaccine mandates. And Tesla CEO Elon Musk has spoken out against COVID vaccine policies. He says those shots should not be mandatory in the U.S., particularly when they leave employees leaving to choose between the vaccine and their job. Musk said this in an interview with Time magazine. The billionaire has been vaccinated, and he says he is pro-vaccine. According to CNBC, Google told its employees they will lose pay and eventually be fired if they don't comply with its vaccine requirements. The outlet cited internal documents. According to a memo among Google's leadership, employees had to show proof of vaccination electronically or apply for an exemption, such as a medical or a religious exemption, by December 3rd. After that date, the company would start reaching out to employees who didn't upload their vaccine status or who didn't get a vaccine without an approved exemption. Workers from United Airlines were asking a federal court to stop the enforcement of their company's vaccine mandate. 3 judges in the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals considered the request, but the federal court panel ultimately turned it down. Though one judge said he would have blocked the mandate, that mandate forces workers with religious or medical exemptions to be placed on unpaid leave. California is mandating masks for indoor settings again. This comes after an increase in CCP virus cases. Here's NTD's Eileen Ng with more details.
California implemented a statewide mask mandate in all indoor public settings, regardless of vaccination status, beginning December 15th. It will remain in place until January 15th. According to the California Health and Human Services Secretary, the mandate comes after a surge in COVID case rates across the state since Thanksgiving. But there are objections.
Well, there's really no justification for it, and I think that people are realizing that the rhetoric just doesn't make sense, that vaccinations are being pushed at the same time that they're asking people to mask up again.
McKeeman has been advocating for mask choice for students in school, and now they will be representing adults.
And I think that there's going to be a lot of adults that just peacefully non-comply. I think there's going to be a lot of adults that do not follow this mandate. And for those that do, I think that if any adults have realized what the children are going through in schools masked up, this will be a reminder to them. And we may see even more adults get involved in that movement to make sure that our kids have mask choice in school.
Douglas Diedrich, founder of Healing Law, said California's situation is similar to Missouri's recent case in November. A group of restaurant owners formed a coalition to sue the Missouri's Department of Health.
And what they determined in the court was that the Department of Health can't overrule an elected official's laws, that they can't just pass laws based on their opinion. And it's very similar to California in the sense that it's the Department of Health, again, that's just passing whatever these officials in office who are unelected want.
One California attorney told NTD that the new mandate is likely legal. He said many people are now vaccinated, but the variant seems to be resistant to the vaccines. So the governor's order appears to be in response to the available science on this new variant. According to the attorney, when the California Supreme Court refused to hear a case questioning the governor's use of his emergency powers during COVID last August, the Supreme Court implicitly approved of the governor's use of his emergency powers. The announcement came on the same day New York implemented a statewide mask requirement indoors. Eileen Ng, NTD News, California.
The FDA has seized a shipment of Ivermectin, which has some people asking questions. This is one of those controversial drugs some doctors prescribe to treat and prevent COVID-19. But the FDA opposes this type of COVID treatment. Is this why the shipment was seized? NTD's Miguel Moreno tells us what happened.
The Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, discourages people from using ivermectin to treat COVID-19. Ivermectin is an antiparasitic drug used to treat several other diseases in humans. According to an attorney with Siri and Glimstead, the FDA is doing more than discouraging its use. A November document titled Notice of FDA Action, shared by the attorney, says a post office under the command of the FDA seized a foreign shipment of 200 ivermectin tablets. But the shared document says the drugs violated two requirements related to misbranding by having a lack of adequate directions for use and not including RX only on its label.
Essentially, that charge just means that the box or the labeling of the drug didn't have FDA-approved labeling on it.
Robert Durkin is an attorney with Arnold Golden Gregory. Durkin says he worked at the FDA for over 12 years before joining the law firm.
Do you think this has anything to do with the FDA's efforts to discourage people from using ivermectin to treat COVID?
That's the only thing it has to do with. That's the only reason FDA would seize these right now. FDA has been very clear that they do not support the off-label use of ivermectin. They've made it difficult for physicians and other healthcare practitioners to practice the art of medicine in using ivermectin off-label for COVID. The only reason FDA has seized this package is because it does not want ivermectin used to treat COVID.
Durkin tells me the FDA isn't releasing data on how many ivermectin shipments it seizes, so we don't know how often this happens. In a statement to NTD, the federal agency said the detention of ivermectin you reference is not the result of a new practice or policy on ivermectin imports. FDA-regulated products, including drugs, are subject to refusal if, for example, they do not appear to meet FDA standards for safety, effectiveness, and quality. Some studies published by NIH suggest that this inexpensive therapeutic reduces disease and death in COVID-19 patients. The FDA, however, says it has received multiple reports of patients requiring medical attention after self-medicating with the livestock formulation of ivermectin. If you are prescribed ivermectin, the FDA asks that you fill your prescription from a legitimate source and take it exactly as prescribed. Miguel Moreno, NTD News.
The Federal Trade Commission and several states are taking the founder of Vyera Pharmaceuticals, Martin Shkreli, to trial. They accuse the company of blocking generic versions of a life-saving drug. Here are the details.
Trial kicked off Tuesday for Vyera Pharmaceuticals founder Martin Shkreli in a U.S. District Court in Manhattan. Shkreli, who is serving a 7-year prison sentence for securities fraud, was not present. The plaintiffs accused Shkreli of masterminding an illegal scheme to buy the drug Daraprim and secure a monopoly on it. That way, the drug maker could raise its price from $17.50 per tablet to $750 per tablet. The drug treats toxoplasmosis, a parasitic infection that threatens people with weakened immune systems. Congress questioned Shkreli on the issue back in 2016, when Vyera was still known as Turing Pharmaceuticals. This is what happened.
Pregnant woman who might have AIDS, no income, and she needs Daraprim in order to survive. What do you say to her when she has to make that choice? What do you say to her?
On the advice of counsel, I invoke my Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination and respectfully decline to answer your question.
Do you think you've done anything wrong?
On the advice of counsel, I invoke my Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination and respectfully decline to answer your question.
The Federal Trade Commission and the states allege that Vyera Pharma prevented generic drug makers from obtaining samples to develop their own versions of the drug. They say the company's actions violated federal antitrust laws and harmed patients. Just a week ago, the plaintiffs settled a lawsuit against Vyera Pharma and its former CEO, Kevin Mileti. The drug maker will pay $10 million up front and up to $30 million over 10 years.
About 40% of fentanyl overdose deaths during the pandemic involved stimulants such as cocaine or methamphetamines. That's according to the latest research published by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The CDC previously reported that between May 2020 and April 2021, more than 100,000 people died from drug overdoses. It's the highest number ever recorded by the agency in a 12-month period. Most of the deaths involved illegal fentanyl. The majority of overdoses happened in the person's own home. And a third of fatal overdoses happened while someone else was nearby and didn't respond, either because they were unaware of what was happening or didn't know what to do. The Department of Justice says a New Jersey landlord will pay $4.5 million for demanding sexual favors from vulnerable tenants. Joseph Shantani owned hundreds of retail units and participated in the Federal Housing Choice Voucher Program, also known as Section 8. The DOJ reports Shantani demanded sexual acts from male and female tenants as well as applicants. If they refused, he threatened to evict them or deny renting to them. $4.4 million of the money Shantani must pay will be used to set up a fund for the victims. The DOJ says it's the largest such fund set up under the Fair Housing Act. Shantani also faces multiple sexual assault and attempted sexual assault charges that were filed in March in Union County. A spokesperson for the Union County Prosecutor's Office say that the case is proceeding. The Nevada Department of Public Safety says officials granted O.J. Simpson an early parole discharge last week. According to an official statement, the decision to grant Simpson early discharge from parole was ratified on December 6th. His original parole plan was set to expire next year in February. Simpson had been out of prison and on parole since 2017 after serving 9 years for a Las Vegas kidnapping and armed robbery. He's been living in the Las Vegas area since 2017 release. Governor Andrew Cuomo has to turn in $5.1 million. It's the money he made from his 2020 pandemic memoir, American Crisis. The New York Ethics Board says he violated their previous agreements. In 2020, Cuomo's special counsel told the commission that Cuomo would not use any state personnel or resources to produce his book and that he would write it, quote, entirely on his own time. But it later surfaced that he did use state resources to write, edit, and publish the book. Staff members told investigators they were asked to perform book tasks during their workday, including transcribing dictations, printing and delivering documents, and attending meetings with agents and publishers. Cuomo says those employees were volunteering. Efforts to take the money could be complicated. Cuomo has already dispersed $1.5 million to a charity and a trust for his 3 daughters. Cuomo resigned in August amid findings he sexually harassed at least 11 women. As the holidays are approaching, the NYPD wants us all to be safe and aware of scams. An NYPD officer gives us tips on what to watch for when using our debit cards in the city. NTD's Jason Perry has the story.
Before using the ATM machine, some people check whether someone is behind them before taking out their debit card. But have you ever thought about checking the ATM machine itself for secret devices that could steal your debit card information? An NYPD officer says we should feel and look around the machine itself.
You see any there's a pinhole around the machine that they can be installed by an unknown perpetrator for the peeing a surveillance camera, and then when they after they insert their cards, and if they feel like the slot is loose, most likely they put the reader.
He also said that the ATM keypad covers are not always safe.
Because sometimes even some ATM machines has the cover for the keypad, but I don't fully trust that because we had incidents on those covers, and there's the peeking hole on it, and so I would say always use your hand, and would be the better way to cover the the keypad.
He said that these types of schemes do not only happen at ATMs, but they can also happen at gas pumps and other places where you use your debit card to make a payment. Jason Perry, NTD News, New York.
To help protect itself against hackers, the Department of Homeland Security is turning to hackers themselves. DHS launching what's known as a bug bounty program, offering hackers big bucks to help find cybersecurity vulnerabilities within DHS systems. The department will shell out between $500 and $5,000, depending on, among other factors, the seriousness of the vulnerability. Bug bounty programs aren't new. Private companies like Apple and Microsoft use them too, and they pay a lot more. Payouts from Apple range from $25,000 to a whopping $1 million. Microsoft offers up to $200,000. DHS itself actually ran a bug bounty pilot program in 2019. The new program, which is called Hack DHS, will be open to vetted cybersecurity researchers who have been invited. An ongoing pork recall by a producer in Michigan has been expanded tenfold. Alexander and Hornung initially recalled about 230,000 pounds of ham and pepperoni products because of possible listeria contamination. But now, federal food safety officials say more than 2 million pounds of meat are affected. The recall involves a number of products made on different dates. So far, there have been no confirmed reports of adverse reactions, but food safety officials are concerned some people may already have the recalled meat in their refrigerators. If you have it, you should throw it away or return it to the place of purchase. Still to come, a longtime California waitress is retiring after 42 years of serving customers. Her regulars visited her on her last day to say their goodbyes and share the fond memories they made over the years. All that and more here on NTD News.
Secure, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Secure is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Secure is 100% private and does not collect or sell any of your personal data. Secure's Helix technology connects you securely to our Swiss servers without the need of a VPN, guaranteeing privacy and security for all your communications. Secure Messenger doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. Chat by Invites allows you to chat privately and securely with anyone outside of your secure network without the need for others to download Secure. Secure Send offers you a private and secure way to email anyone outside of Secure. You won't find this level of privacy or security on any other email or instant messaging application. Visit secure.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the CEO of MyPillow.
Cancel culture has not only affected myself and MyPillow, but millions of you out there. My employees and I want to personally thank each and every one of you for all of your support. At MyPillow, we not only have pillows, but we have hundreds of products, including my new slippers, bathrobes, sleepwear, and my new beds. We're offering the best gifts ever for the best prices ever. For example, we have this exclusive offer on the standard size MyPillows, regularly $69.98, now only $19.98 with your promo code. We also have the queen size MyPillows, regularly $79.98, now only $24.98 with your promo code. And we have the king size, regularly $89.98, now only $29.98 with your promo code. So go to mypillow.com now and use the promo code on your screen or call the 1-800 number below to receive this exclusive offer.
Longtime waitress Dolores Jean-Pierre is retiring after 4 decades of serving customers. Longtime customers stopped by to say their goodbyes and give gifts. NTD's Cynthia Kai spoke with Dolores and some customers to hear about the fond memories made at the restaurant over the decades.
Dolores Jean-Pierre, a longtime waitress at Oli's Waffle Shop in Alameda, California, retired on December 14th after 42 years of working there. Longtime customers dropped by the shop to visit her and wish her well. Dolores shared that the restaurant, her coworkers, and customers mean everything to her.
Oli's mean to me, it's in my heart. It's like family. It means it's a personal meaning from me. It's just not a restaurant job or a coffee shop. It's a deep feeling for me. It's very deep. I love everything about it.
She was hired in 1978 and served through parts of 6 decades, from the 70s to today. Dolores says throughout the years, it was the kindness from her coworkers and appreciation from her customers that kept her going.
Well, 28 years coming out of Fremont. I get up at 3 in the morning, like I said, and I leave Fremont at 3:30, get here at 4 o'clock, open the doors at 5:30 for the customers. Just the appreciation that they showed back to me kept me going.
She says the most important advice she can give people, no matter the occupation, is to be kind. The store owners and staff say they will miss her, but she will always be part of the family.
And she'll always be a part of this business. She will never go away. We've got sketches of her, drawings of her, paintings of her, as we do all of our employees. We can put any painting of a bird or whatever up on the wall, but we choose to put our employees on the walls because those are the people that make this business work. It's not me, it's not my wife, it's the staff, it's the community, it's the customers.
Longtime customers visited the restaurant to give her gifts and flowers, sign her retirement journal, and say their farewells.
We're going to really miss her a lot. She's very friendly, making sure my coffee cup was always full, and I always took the time to stop and talk and see how everybody's doing. She's historic. It's great.
He says he has known Dolores for many years and attended football games with her. Another customer said Dolores always remembers people by name and makes everyone feel welcome in the restaurant.
When I walked in the door, I didn't have any idea she was going to remember my name. There's no way. You know what I mean? It had been a month, and she only saw me one time. And I walked in the door. I just barely got in the door. She said, "Hi, it was Keith, wasn't it?" Or something like that. I said, "Yeah, I'm in. I'm a member of the club." I sat down. I was like, "Yeah, this is great." You know what I mean? And everybody she greeted, and I was now part of that.
Keith has been a longtime customer for 30 years. He says Dolores would chat with customers and continue chatting with them as she waited at other tables. Eventually, others would join the conversation until the restaurant was filled with joyful chattering.
Well, I want to say if you guys didn't make it today, farewell is not goodbye. Goodbye is too final, but farewell, and I'll be in and out, seeing you around the city of Alameda.
Memories can be made anywhere, even in a restaurant. And Dolores has made 42 years worth of fond memories with her customers and coworkers. She says she'll now take some time off to relax, but will still be around to say hi every now and then. Reporting in Alameda, California, Cynthia Kai, NTD News.
If you're a chef or restaurateur looking to set up shop in your own space, Las Vegas could be the perfect location for you. That's because a Nevada real estate developer is offering to give away a diner, deli, or coffee shop in downtown Vegas for free. The developer, Dapper Companies, is holding a contest to decide who the lucky entrepreneur will be. To enter the contest, you must create a presentation describing your concept in detail. Qualified applicants will present their ideas and business plans to a panel of judges who will pick 5 finalists. The finalists will then cook selections from their proposed menus. Judges from multiple Las Vegas eateries and restaurants will pick the winner. After that, the winner will work with the developer to build out the property. The White House says a new bill will soon get President Biden's signature. The measure seeks to ban all imported goods from the Xinjiang region in China, as millions of Uyghurs there are forced to work in concentration camps.
We have been clear that we share Congress's view that action must be taken to hold the PRC accountable for its human rights abuses and to address forced labor in Xinjiang. We've already taken action on the global stage in that regard, leading an effort that G7, putting in place financial sanctions and global Magnitsky visa restrictions, and I think that's evidence of our commitment to this.
The bill is called the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act. Congress approved it with near unanimous support. The House passed it last week, following Senate approval over the summer. Only a single lawmaker across both chambers voted against it. In line with a bipartisan agreement, lawmakers will have to vote on an updated version of the bill before it arrives at the president's desk. The White House gave input on the changes, but didn't comment on the details. Congressman Jim McGovern says it will be moved through both chambers and sent to Biden as quickly as possible. Beijing seized the Uyghur ethnic group's homeland in 1950. Since then, the Chinese Communist Party has monitored and jailed Uyghurs, using them for forced labor. U.S. officials have described what's happening there as genocide. A major fire broke out today at Hong Kong's World Trade Center. Some 150 people were trapped on its rooftop. Evacuation attempts are underway for those stranded using airlifts and breathing apparatus. The building is located in the bustling Causeway Bay shopping district. Footage showed thick smoke rolling out as people evacuated from the ground floor. Media reported that the fire started in a utility room on the lower level of the mall and spread to the bamboo scaffolding on the exterior. Police said about 100 people moved from the restaurant to the 39th floor. Firefighters put out the blaze with 2 water jets. Emergency services and ambulances were also deployed to the scene. 13 were taken to the hospital, one of them only semi-conscious. Relations between Beijing and Baltic Europe appear to be taking a turn for the worse. Lithuania's diplomatic delegation to China made a quiet exit this morning, leaving the country and heading to Paris. The departure comes in the thick of worsening tensions between the two nations over Taiwan. The island opened a representative office in Lithuania's capital last month, slated to function as a de facto embassy. That move angered Beijing, prompting it to downgrade diplomatic ties with Lithuania last month. The Chinese Communist Party considers Taiwan part of mainland China, though the island enjoys its own democratically elected leaders and its own constitution. In a statement, Lithuania said it summoned its top diplomat back from China for consultations and noted the embassy would operate remotely for now. Reuters reports that unnamed sources said all 19 Lithuanian embassy staff left Beijing because of safety concerns in response to intimidation. China's foreign ministry did not immediately respond to a request for comment. A German warship sails into the South China Sea today for the first time in almost 20 years. This comes amid growing alarm over China's territorial ambitions. The move aligns Berlin with other Western countries by expanding Germany's military presence in the region. The Chinese regime claims almost the entire South China Sea as its own, yet an international tribunal has ruled Beijing's demand unlawful. Despite this, China has established military outposts on artificial islands in disputed waters. The German Navy vessel has begun crossing the waters on its way to Singapore. The transit may take several days. The former German government said the warship underscores the country's non-acceptance of China's territorial claims. The European Union is honoring a jailed Russian opposition politician with its top human rights award. Alexei Navalny's daughter accepted the Sakharov Prize in her father's place this morning in Strasbourg.
I don't understand why those who advocate for pragmatic relations with dictators can't simply open the history books. It would be a very pragmatic act, and having it done, it's very easy to understand the inescapable political law. The pacification of dictators and tyrants never works.
The nearly $60,000 Sarkov Prize for Freedom of Thought is annually awarded. It's named after Soviet dissident Andrei Sarkov. Past winners include South African President Nelson Mandela, Venezuela's Democratic Opposition, and Pakistani education activist Malala Yousafzai. Navalny is currently serving 2.5-year jail term. He says the charges against him were trumped up to thwart his opposition to the Kremlin. Moscow denies any wrongdoing, including accusations it jailed Navalny for his political activities. Russian officials say he was punished for breaking the law. Coming up, after years of delay, NASA will launch the Webb telescope next week. Scientists hope the telescope can usher in a new era in astronomy. And a German chef wins over customers by adding a special ingredient to his sweet pastries. It's both healthy and eco-friendly. Stay tuned to find out more.
You worked hard for your money. You invest in stability for your retirement and your family's future, to build and leave them with something greater. The next unprecedented financial crisis, political misstep, or unstable government can depreciate it all away. It was called the gold standard for a reason, the financial preservation of tomorrow. Diversify your assets against inflation, market volatility, and the unknown with real money. Hedge your wealth with the purest form of money, physical gold and silver. Because any currency printed on paper can be manipulated. What's backing up your IRA? Do what you need to do right now to be prepared with the Reagan Gold Group. Visit now, rggusakit.com, or call us at 866-912-1384. Receive up to $2,500 in free silver coins and a free safe with your new precious metals IRA. Call now.
The ongoing supply chain crisis? Big tech and other woke companies giving billions to the liberal left? Where will you shop for Christmas? Go to Mammoth Nation. We created a safe place for patriots to spend their money for Christmas and beyond. Shop thousands of products from American and veteran-owned businesses. Shop to the right, give to the right. This is how we fight tyranny. Go to MammothNation.com right now and become a lifetime member today. Use promo code EPIC and save 30%.
NASA's James Webb Space Telescope is going to be launched next week. The telescope was finished years late and costs far more than planned, but NASA hopes the instrument may expand our understanding of the universe, including its earliest stages. Let's take a look.
The goals of the mission include searching for the first galaxies or luminous objects formed in the early phases of the universe, and learning how galaxies evolved from their initial birth to the present day. NASA says Webb is going to push beyond what the Hubble telescope was able to do.
It's going to be sensitive to galaxies that are more distant and younger, that really formed closer to the start of the universe. So in that way, we're going to see towards the beginning of the universe closer than ever before with Webb.
The Webb telescope is designed to be about 100 times more sensitive than the Hubble telescope. It's due to blast off on December 22nd on a rocket from French Guiana in South America.
After completing mid-course corrections, the Webb telescope passes the orbit of the moon. The mid-booms extend and the sun's shield assumes its hexagonal tennis court-sized shape. Discoveries made by this observatory will rewrite textbooks, inspiring the next generation of future engineers and scientists. This revolutionary tool will provide mankind with an unprecedented view into the birth of the first stars and galaxies.
The telescope cost $8.8 billion to develop. The total price tag, including operational expenses, is almost $10 billion. Other than studying the early phases of the universe, scientists plan to use the telescope to study exoplanets, which are planets beyond our solar system.
When we look at a blank part of sky and see distant galaxies that we didn't realize were there before, or we look at the atmosphere of an exoplanet and we discover a molecule that we didn't appreciate would be there before, and we have to figure out, okay, what does that mean now? And what does that mean for our understanding of how the universe works?
After launch, the Webb telescope will deploy on a month-long million-mile journey to a more distant orbit than Hubble, beyond the moon.
A baker in the German state of Bavaria is offering up a new type of pastry. They look sweet, but also contain an unexpected burst of flavor thanks to a unique ingredient.
Fresh and brightly colored, these sweet pastries are sure to whet the appetite of anyone who sees them, but they contain a unique secret ingredient: algae. A German baker has won over customers with this eco-friendly innovation.
Of course, in Bavaria at first, everyone was like, "What's that? I don't like fish." And it wasn't working. But then bit by bit, we started posting on social media. Then people started trying it and they realized it's tasty.
The algae treats not only stand out on the shelves, but shine under UV light. But their maker, also a skilled chocolate confectioner, had made a name for himself long before dishing out the seaworthy snack. The pastry chef used to create baguettes featuring national colors for the European Football Championships, but has since taken a new approach to baking. He invented this new dessert along with a professor at the University of Munich. The scientist helps extract necessary ingredients generated from algae. He explains that the algae can be farmed in either salt or brackish water.
Algae has a photosynthetic efficiency which is about 3 to 4 times higher than any land plant, so they grow 10 times faster and actively consume CO2. So we can benefit the climate by eating algae products.
The concept of eating the plant isn't a modern one. Even the Aztecs grew and ate algae.
Something with bread and algae already existed, but nothing to do with sweets or with snacks, so we tried to combine creativity and health to create it.
And so far, it appears to be a smashing success.
Australia today reopened borders to vaccinated skilled migrants and foreign students after a near 2-year ban on their entry. It's to boost the country's economy and restart international travel. Travelers hugged family members and friends on arrival at Sydney Airport. The emergence of the new Omicron variant forced officials to delay the reopening by 2 weeks. Health officials asked for the pause in order to get more information about the strain, which so far appears to show milder symptoms than other variants. Australia closed its borders in March 2020 to contain the spread of the CCP virus and had limited the number of citizens and permanent residents allowed entry. The relaxation of border rules and return of foreign students is expected to ease labor shortages. A fire brigade in Peru is giving Santa a little help this Christmas. They're helping him deliver presents to children isolating with the virus. With the help of a fire truck and its cherry picker, in Lima, Santa was able to safely deliver Christmas presents to children on Tuesday. The children are at a virus isolation center. People can't go into the center directly. Santa reached over 120 children through the windows. Adding to the Christmas spirit, health workers below danced to carols. Kids cheered for Santa as he got closer to their windows. Paul Suarez, who volunteers as Santa, said the most rewarding thing is hearing the kids say, "I love you, Santa." The cold and flu season is here, and sometimes it can be a little rough. So here are some tips for staying healthy. Here's Gina Marie, who brings us Strong Mind and Body.
If you want to be better prepared for the cold and flu season, then be sure to set yourself up right with some preventative measures. You can't avoid every cold and flu that's going around, but you may be able to minimize the risk to yourself and your family. Here are some natural health tips for the cold and flu season. Number 1, wash your hands frequently, especially when returning home from a public place. Number 2, change your hand towels often. Using a common towel may pass germs from one person to another, so a sick person should have their own towel to use. Number 3, clean the places that harbor the most germs in your house. That includes refrigerator doors and handles, bathroom faucets, doorknobs, remote controls, light switches, telephones, dishwasher handles, salt and pepper shakers, and toys. Number 4, get plenty of sleep. Not getting enough sleep will negatively affect your immune system, leaving you more vulnerable to cold and flu viruses. Number 5, stay hydrated. Living and working inside with the heat on can really dry you out, and it's more difficult to remember to drink water when it isn't hot outside. Number 6, take your vitamins. Find a good whole food-based multivitamin for you and your family, especially if you aren't eating as healthy as you should be. Number 7, get sunshine on your body. Exposing yourself to the sun every day boosts vitamin D production and helps to lift your mood, which may affect your immune response. Number 8, be active and move your body. Regular exercise, especially vigorous exercise, helps your body stay healthy and offsets the negative effects of our modern sedentary life. Number 9, be positive. Having a positive outlook may be one of the most important things you could do for your health. Number 10, eat more fruits and veggies. Vegetables and fruits are nutritional powerhouses, with citrus fruit coming into season in the winter. Eating lots of oranges is a cheap way to support your immune system. Number 11, drink your juice. Have you got a juicer at home? Flush your body with raw fruit and vegetable juices. And number 12, just say no. When feeling less than optimal, do less, stay home from work if you can, and don't overcommit. Make your health the highest priority. Good luck with staying healthy this cold and flu season.
If you're planning a trip to Glacier National Park next spring or summer, you'll have to get a ticket to visit certain areas of the park. The pilot ticket system is meant to improve high traffic in the park and prevent gridlock and congestion. The system will be enforced from May 27th through September 11th of next year. Each vehicle must have a ticket to enter the Going to the Sun Road, the St. Mary entrance, and the New Camas entrance. You'll also need a separate ticket per vehicle for the Pole Bridge Ranger Station to visit the North Fork area. The park expects some tickets to be available in March. They're free, but there is a $2 service fee. 2022 will be the second year the park has used the system. On top of tickets for certain areas, vehicles are also required to have a general pass for any park entry point. You can use an annual pass, a lifetime pass, or a $35 vehicle pass. New York City is the winner of Major League Soccer's MLS Cup. On Tuesday, players celebrated the win along with the mayor and fans. NTD's Arian Pastar was at the celebration.
We're at City Hall in Manhattan and the atmosphere is amazing. It's New York City's first championship win since the Giants won the Super Bowl almost 10 years ago.
We feel amazing. Been supporting the team since day one, since 2015. From New Jersey, we came all the way out here. We ready to celebrate today, baby.
Let's go NYCFC! Organizers showed highlights of the past season. In the final, New York played against Portland. The game was decided by a penalty shootout.
And a chance for New York City here to become MLS Cup champions.
Some fans traveled all the way to Portland for the final on Saturday. How did you guys feel on Saturday?
Oh, man. It was an emotional day for everyone. I mean, he was there in Portland. I was here working, just watching the game, and I was crying the entire way.
I may have shed a few tears at the game. It was amazing. Woke up at 6 a.m., marched to the stadium, saw a great game. There for the city. It was awesome. It was great.
New York won only 3 games on the road during the entire regular season. So fans were a bit concerned about the away games during the playoffs.
Makes you a little nervous.
But the team ended up winning another 3 games on the road during the playoffs. The team's captain says the fans helped them win the road games.
We saw the fans, the supporters group when we scored. We didn't hear the Portland's fans in their stadium. All we heard was you guys.
At the end of the ceremony, the mayor handed keys to the city to every single player. Ariane Pastar, NTD News, New York.
Thanks for watching. At NTD, we're honored to be your source for the news. Catch us again tonight at 6:30 Eastern. In New York City, I'm Kevin Hogan.
Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Did you know YouTube only keeps selective videos on its platform? So if you want to make sure you get the full picture, just subscribe to our newsletter. Go to newsletter.ntd.com and sign up. It's free.